One crane is the only acceptable number of cranes. Hey folks, this is BestInSlot. Welcome back to our horror experience build in Jurassic World Evolution 2. In the first video, we built ourselves a slightly suspicious feeling Main Street sort of area with some lovely brachiosaurs walking along the side. Little hints at, further trouble in there, but nothing too over the top. We're blocking off this left-hand section during this video. And we're going to start heading to the right. And things are going to start to get a little bit spookier. No outward, no proper broken out dinosaurs roaming around eating everyone quite yet, but more hints at what is to come. Now, I was going to use Cowdenic's broken fixie brokey mod. That's the best term I have for it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work right now. The core menu file seems to crash my game every single time, so we can't use that at this point. We're going to have this go a bit longer. But thanks to Al Haron, I want to give credit to them specifically because they gave tons of fantastic ideas in the last comment section, and we're going to integrate one of those into this build. So, I am listening, as crazy as that might seem. So if any of you have any suggestions for this build, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I also really want to do a section with the tour vehicles, now that I think about it, but we'll get to that in the future. So this is going to be probably quite a simple build. Oh, I'm going to make that go a little bit longer, actually. Probably quite a simple build. We're basically going to do, it's kind of inspired a little bit by the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park, and that it curves like this, and there'll be a dinosaur exhibit on the right hand side. There's going to be one on the left hand side as well, and you're going to walk through, and on the left hand side there's going to be a dinosaur exhibit. It's going to be a Monolophosaurus exhibit, and on the right hand side there's going to be a dinosaur exhibit, but something's gone wrong and you can't see the dinosaurs inside, and it's just meant to suggest that the dinosaurs have broken out and they're roaming somewhere in the park, but the ones on the left will be contained, and that way we get to actually have some dinosaurs on our dinosaur tour, because otherwise Ian Malcolm will get very annoyed with me. Let's hit play. Just because it's better for sound more than anything else. Okay, so yeah, it's just going to be like a long walk, this one. It's meant to be part of a walking tour. I think we'll bring in the vehicles at some point, but let's just get started. So we need dinosaur threat. That's not what we need. Why is there a dinosaur threat? Okay, let me double check. It says this quite often, but I think it's nonsense. I don't see any way they could possibly get out. They're a threat in that they're cute. Sure. That's not really a threat, though. Okay, so first thing we need to do, remember the challenge is to get from gate to gate. That's kind of like the goal of the characters. Get from gate to gate without, being dead. Obviously, they can't actually be dead, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. That would be the dream. So that will be your first target, that gate right there. You'll walk along, you'll open the gate up, and you'll head through to level 2. That way we can make it feel like it's a game with levels, and it is kind of meant to feel a little bit like a video game, so this is going to be tricky. If I just go like that instead, might be better. And bring you along there, and then we'll block off this side of the lagoon, because I obviously, like I said, I want an exhibit here, and I don't want it to back onto the lagoon, because that would be nonsense. The music keeps going, because it thinks my brachiosaurs are escaping, even though I don't see how that's possibly the case. The music is in like permanent spooky mode. It's actually very helpful, because it very suits the theme and tone we're trying to evoke here. Okay, so you go like this. And then maybe we'll have like a sign as well that we can put up saying, this is the way to go, this is the exit. And then you go over here. Gate opens. Player, welcome to level 2. And then you're in level 2, like so. Good stuff. We'll put something there eventually. Maybe some decos. Maybe a... let's have a look at the signs. Maybe, right, you're heading for... Is that a helipad? Yeah, so you're heading for the helipad, right? The idea is the goal at the end is going to be the helipad. It's going to be an arrival point, but we'll say, it's a helipad. You've got to reach the helipad alive. So maybe that's what you look for between each level. There's like little signs here and there just pointing out where the helipad is. So you've got your target, as it were. I want to block off this if I can. Okay, good stuff. And let's make this a little bit more techie. Just a little fence on there. A little fence on there. We'll have to move that. Oh, okay, just fence on there. I'm not allowed to do any others. I think we might block this off as well. Just a little bit. Always trying to suggest that the security is just a little bit strangely high, you know, just a little bit higher than you'd expect. Right, so we're doing a carnivore habitat, but it needs to be a carnivore you could see through. Maybe this fence I quite like. Let's have a look at these fences. What do you look like and what do you look like? For Monolophosaurus, I think I'd feel fairly... I don't know, actually. Wait, let's see how tall we are. It's actually quite important. You need to be able to see in. That's kind of the problem. So we'll have to... Oh, also, I'm going to try this. Someone suggested, and I completely forgot to take your name, and I do apologize for this. Someone had a genius idea. So what we do, we set this to 10 minutes. I've gone about that a very slow way. We set the day-night cycle to 10 minutes, right? We speed up time. We want it to zoom along. And what we do is we wait until it gets to a nice time of day, and then we changed it to 24 hours. It's actually just a very, very clever idea. I'm very impressed. So we're going to use this one, I think. This one here, right? Yeah, let's use this one. So I don't want it to be right against the wall. We're going to leave some space here for like toilets and decorations. The two most important things in anyone's life. A little gap between the exhibit wall and your fence is always a good idea because that's kind of what zoos always do. You're rarely allowed to like just press yourself up against the fence itself, right? I'm just trying to keep that relatively even along the way. I do mean relatively, clearly. And that'll be one of the exhibits. So the idea is that you're walking along and there's these tall fences on either side and both of them contain carnivores. Or do they? Okay. And that'll be this area here. I guess we're wasting space over here, but I don't think that's a big deal. We can maybe put something there. We can't see, Captain. So I want to block that off. And I think it's important relatively to not make these exhibits too big because you need to be able to, you know, see the dinosaurs. We will, of course, add our little sign. So if you wanted, you could go explore elsewhere. But, you know that you're meant to be prioritizing looking for the helipad. Just down there somewhere. Okay, so the gate's broken. The dinos have escaped. The park workers are aware of that. But they don't want to lose money. They don't want to... This is, I don't know, bank holiday weekend. Or what would it be in America? It's... Big America Day. And they've got all the tourists in and they're making more money than they have, and you know the board members are on top of them about it. They need to keep the park open, so instead of doing anything they just haphazardly block the gate and they say, you know what, we'll find them, we'll find the dinos before anyone notices they're missing. Maybe they've got some cages back here just for general storing of animals. I'm trying to block the view off a little bit more. Crane, I do like the crane. Why would it be in there? I don't know, but I like it. That's sort of, although maybe, you know, maybe the dinos climbed up the crane. That's awfully suspicious looking. That was another suggestion, actually. That wasn't on purpose, but maybe it's okay to have two. And it does block off the area a little bit more, which is very much what I wanted. And actually, I completely forgot that we have individually placeable trees now, so... There we go. Yeah, alright, I like that. Okay, we need the sign. Obviously, it still has to feel like an actual park tour, you know? It's still got to have decorations and stuff like that. It's still got to feel like it's actually not going to try to get you killed. So, I'll have that sitting in there. And unfortunately, of course, there isn't one for the Monolophosaurus, so we'll just stick with the Dilo one. But we'll put Monolopho in. Maybe that can That's an interesting idea. It's a carnivore. that's the only information you get. It's a carnivore of some description. Tell you what, let's make some monolophos. That is a aviary hatchery, and therefore not very appropriate for what I'm trying to do. Where is my regular... Did I delete it? I deleted it, didn't I? I just love the sound of the brackies. It's funny because the brackies are a beautiful creature, but it can sound a little haunting. This... You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's got that potential haunting sort of quality to it. Hey, make sure you can't see that like that. That was a bit messy. A little bit lean. Actually, what I'm probably just going to do. Yeah. Okay. Monolophosaurus, our beautiful new dinosaur. We're not going to use the Camp Cretaceous one. I think the Frontier skin is actually better, to be fair to them. We're going to random, we're going to random, because we get tons of them, and we're going to get lots of pretty colours. 9, folks. 9. Crazy numbers. Do I want 9? 9 is a lot. I'm going to get rid of... I'm going to go 6. I think that's more appropriate. I mean, 9 is kind of a crazy number. Is 9 a crazy number? 9 is the craziest number, but 9 and 6 are very similar, you know. Just flip them upside down. Although now I'm looking at the size of this habitat, maybe 9 isn't crazy. the mono... This is probably too big, actually, this mono. Does that matter, though? Not really. Actually, it's just more potential for me to cover the back with trees. Both exhibits should feel similar. I'm going to leave more room on the Monolophosaurus one, but not necessarily too much more room. But I do want you to... I want you to feel a little bit like the forest. Okay, it's how I always... When I was writing my book, it was a metaphor I loved. But the way the forest is encroaching on you and it's kind of like tightening around you like a noose, you know? You should feel claustrophobic somewhat as you walk through. So, this is why we need to make this exhibit smaller. Because otherwise you'll never see the bloody dinosaurs. Maybe a little bit... I'm just going to cut out like a random chunk there. Might seem illogical, but as long as you can't see it, it doesn't actually matter. And I will make sure you can't. Okay, so you're walking down here. You're walking into the carnivore paddock table. Let's move that. Is there anything we can do to make it just feel a little bit more spooky? The shadow's super helpful. And where's my... There it is. So maybe that should be over here, actually. And, okay, so let's get some decos on. Because you kind of want the tech there, you want the security there, but you also kind of need it to feel like a park. I'm probably going to time-lapse decoration work, though, because I need to time-lapse something, otherwise these videos are just going to go on for a billion years. So, let me have a little think. Right, we need to obviously block off a lot of that. It's kind of okay. It's got the feeling... Obviously, we need some decos around this middle bit as well. It's a little bit boring at the moment. What if we do some terrain work? One day I'll click the right button. What about... I don't know. There's something to make the path feel different? Question mark? Smiley face? Dirt might feel better, actually. Get a bit dirty? Let's get a bit dirty. I think that makes it feel a bit more like a trodden path that you would reasonably take. We'll put some plants in there, we'll put some decos in there, it'll look fine. Let's do this bit, and then we'll skip forward with it and do some time-lapsing. So, I want to block this off. Now, I think... Maybe they just parked the crane in front of it. It's part of it. Okay, so let's get rid of that crane. We can't have 2 cranes, that's madness. That's too many cranes. 1 crane is the only acceptable number of cranes. Otherwise they fight. You know, cranes are not... They're not good at living with each other. They need separating, so... Okay, need to have some shipping containers, maybe. Trying to make sure that's not actually inside it. Lovely. You know, these have been dropped in there. This is a really good idea. I really like this. This is the kind of theming I love. It's like theme park kind of stuff, as I think he said. Okay, so they put that in. They dropped some containers in the way, maybe some barrels. Maybe they'd rig up a camera outpost in the area nearby. You know, they're a little bit anxious now. Actually, maybe there would be anyway. It's a carnivore habitat, right? So I think you'd have cameras dotted along regardless of anything. Let's space a few of these out. Let's just assume they can see both sides. I'm not trying to deny the importance of the Monolophosaurus, okay? Okay, so the idea is that the Dilos can no longer escape because they've been haphazardly blocked in. And then maybe... It's actually called Stegosaurus cage, I like that. And that is actually called T-Rex cage, and that's called Indoraptor cage. I like that they've got the proper names. The Velociraptor cage is kind of the appropriate size, so maybe... Just like a... Oh my god, no, that was a disaster. Please don't kill my trees. Please be nicer to my trees. Okay, let's try that again. I just, you know, they'd have cages around because they're trying to capture the dinosaurs, right? Maybe they're over here instead. Maybe I'll dot some... Maybe just like it's a hint, because from here... You can't really see there's anything wrong, so maybe I want a hint that something's wrong, so we'll just put a couple of cages there. Just a little bit, huh, what are those cages doing here? And then you walk around and you're like, huh, uh-oh. And you would make that exact noise because you're a cool kid. Are they in? Yeah, you're not going to see these very often, but what we'll do is we'll put the food and the water at the front, although they don't eat or drink. We can make them eat and drink. We can turn that on. We'll just have to make sure we feed our brackies. You're not a danger to guests. Like, how would you possibly be a danger to the guests? Okay, so I'm going to do some general decoration work in this whole area, and we'll do a little time lapse. So I'll be back in a number of minutes. I don't know how many, probably 2-ish, maybe. We'll find out. Okay, well that took quite a while. I've realised a slight, I don't say a problem with this day-night thing, is that what I want to do is, the whole point is to go through this at nighttime, so what I'm thinking is we are going to stick with daytime until the end now, and then basically we'll see what it looks like at nighttime when we experience it at nighttime for the very first time, so that'd be quite interesting. One thing I really like about this gate system, I can keep the park open as you can see, and have people in this section, but then once you get to that next bit, nobody's going to be there. You know, you're just going to be experiencing it on your own. It's maybe a bit early for that. This is still part of the park. My idea is eventually you're going to be away from the actual exhibits and you're going to be into the backstage of the park and in the research areas and stuff like that. But I think I'm pretty happy with how this looks. We'll walk through that in a second. And yes, the concrete thing took bloody ages, but I think it really works. I do think it was a good idea. And it would have been a lot quicker if I remembered earlier how to use the randomize option. I thought it was off, and it turns out it was on. I guess my one problem so far. So let's nip down into first person as we finish off the vid. So I've done a little decoration here. I like this idea, by the way. I didn't think about this until just now. You can put the fountains inside the planters, and it makes this really nice little display. So anyways, that's meant to sort of obfuscate this area over here. You walk forward. And this area here, I'm not sure what to do. I like that build up to there. I might put more of the fire things leading towards you, kind of building up the suspense a little bit of what you're about to enter. But then what do I do at the side? Do I just do more shops? Do I do attractions? You know, the big attraction building like the theatre and stuff like that. Maybe have that in there. Maybe some restrooms in there. Do I just do a general amenity sort of area? What do I do? Anyone have any ideas for this specific? This is like the staging area, right? Before you enter the main habitat. So it should... Okay, if this was going to be a theme park, let's design this like it's Disneyland or Universal. Universal, because Universal's cooler. If this was, and also more appropriate, obviously. If this was Universal, that's the actual ride. If you think about Tower of Terror, for example. Where's Tower of Terror? Is it MGM? Yeah. Disneyland Paris or MGM in Florida, I believe. Anyways, Tower of Terror, right? You go on the actual ride, and you go up and down in the elevator. But the staging area, i.e. the queuing area, essentially, before you get on the ride, is still very themed around the ride. You're walking through this old, creepy hotel, right? That's the whole point. So, this area here could have shops and stuff like that, and it could also have stuff that would set the tone for a... Dilophosaurus / Monolophosaurus habitat. Does that make sense? So any ideas on how to do that, feel free to hit me up in the comment section, and I will work on that before the next video and the next section. But let's enter. I'm going to keep using these fire things because they're cool. Where's my dialogue sign? Oh, I moved it into here, didn't I? Yeah, so you're in here, you're looking out for the Dilophosaurus. It's like it. I like it. It's got like a Jurassic Park sort of vibe to it, which I think it should with the Dilo. But you still see the, you know, the cameras and the fences and the double-barreled fences actually with this little concrete barrier, which I do think works really well. It was obnoxious as all hell, but I do think it's effective. Little things. You see that though, and you think, you know what, that could be part of the theming. It absolutely could. But is it? And you're looking there. It's annoying that I can do this actually in some ways, because I'd rather just not see that, but yeah, there you go. You can see your Monolophosauruses dashing about. I might replace the fence with a slightly less security fence, so just so you can see in a little bit better. I was also thinking about putting some viewing areas in there, or one there that looks over this part of the habitat. But yeah, you can see your Monolophos in there, and you're walking along. Maybe some plants in there. Seems nice. And you see that, and you're like, okay, something a little funny is going on here. You see all the cameras, which I've tried to obfuscate. I've used obfuscate twice in this video, which is too many times, quite frankly. I tried to hide them a little bit in the foliage, without making it too overtly hidden, if that makes sense. See that in there? Okay, they're nicely contained, but then you see this and you're a bit like, oh, okay, is that part of the theme? Where are the Dilophosauruses? Who knows, folks? Who knows? All you know is it's very spooky. So you walk on, okay, that's a little sus, to say the least. You do have dinosaurs on your... And everyone who walks down here will make that Ian Malcolm joke. But a little part of them, just 5% of them, were thinking, you know, maybe I'm going to die today. Just 5%. And you're walking along and like, oh, that's on the wrong side. I'll have to rotate that. But still. And then you're like, okay, well, I guess that's fine. Oh, that looks really good like that, actually. It feels very Jurassic Park to me. It makes me happy. And then you move on. And I don't know what's going to be beyond this. But the tour will continue past that point. So that is it. That's our escaped carnivore lead up. I say the idea is to build up the spookiness more and more and more. Oh, I just thought, right, we're going to do a tour, right? So I think maybe the tour should be next, the actual vehicle tour, because maybe you escape in the vehicle though. Maybe. Okay, so maybe you go through some walking ones, you end up through back areas, you go through the research area, and then eventually you find the park tour, You go on the park tour for like 1 or 2 spooky exhibits. I really want to do a park tour through the aviary because we've never really done that. So, well, we did, but I want to do it again. So you go on the park tour through the aviary. The pterosaurs are swooping down all over the place, just trying to numb your face. And then you have to take it off-road to break out, basically. And what we could do is we could have like a road like this that you'd follow, like the tour track. But you would then you'd use the dirt tool. And you'd make like a fake road, or you'd even use the track. You could attach 2 tracks together, basically, and have one swerve off to the side. And you're like, right, that's the way out. And that's like a staff route. And you'd have to swerve off to that staff route to make it out of the park alive. So we'll save the car for the end, I guess. I'm building up to that. So the next habitat then, the next thing we build, how do I fill in that? Has to be something... Wait, I'm doing for space first of all. It's gonna get. I'm gonna have to be a little bit more efficient. I think we'll have to move right, and then that'll be the exit. Will probably be around here, so we'll go like that. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. Has to ramp up the spookiness a little bit more. So far, we've suggested some carnivores have broken out. Maybe bring in some herbivores, but they're dead. Or someone suggested a herbivore exhibit, again, same person actually, suggested a herbivore exhibit with carnivores in it, kind of showing that the carnivores have broken out into that part of the park and are now killing the herbivores as well. So that would maybe incite some more fear. Maybe we see the Dilophosauruses in the next habitat, and the habitat's like listed as a Gallimimus habitat or something, but when you look into it, all you see is Dilophosaurus. But then how do I make it interesting to look at as well? I can't just have every exhibit just be walking through. I don't know. Open to suggestions and ideas. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see next. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying this series, please do throw me a like down below and subscribe to the channel for lots more of it. And yeah, I'm really excited to continue this little journey. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.